Hey, Professor Hartman. So this is about the test to word reading efficiency, which is a quick and easily administered test to assess sight word recognition and phonemic decoding. Those are considered two of the most critical strategies that children can use to identify words in text. So they're super important for reading. This test is a quick and easy way to provide professionals with a reliable and valid measure of fluency and accuracy of print-based word reading skills. It's a great way to identify that children have special instructional needs early on. They're struggling. It can be used to identify reading disabilities in older children. This test can be given by anybody who can understand the manual, and it's very thorough. It's easy to understand and implement this test, and anybody who has an understanding of assessment procedures. So this could be teachers, instructional aides, school psychologists, speech pathologists, and even school counselors. So the instructions are very easy to follow. This test has two subtests. So one of them is the sight word efficiency subtest, and then there's also the phonemic decoding efficiency subtest. So both tests together you could administer in about 8 minutes. One test is about 5. So very fast. So I did this with my son. Now my son is 10. He is in the 5th grade, which is kind of what I put on the form, but he, of course, didn't take this super seriously, so the results aren't very accurate, but he did enjoy doing this with me. So I first gave him the sight word efficiency test. So first, there's this practice. So the practice helps to ensure that the student understands the testing process, makes them a little more comfortable with the test, especially if they're a little nervous. The practice only has 8 words on this form. So the student is asked to read the words top to bottom as fast as they can. They just go through the list. Boom, 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 boom. Now, for the practice, if the student isn't able to read any of the words correctly, then you don't go through with the test. But as long as the student can read at least one of the words correctly, then you assume, okay, they understand the test, and they're ready to try the test. So the practice is just practice. It's not scored. And then you explain to them, okay, well, here's the test. We're going to have a longer list. As you can see, there's a lot more words here. And here they're going to do the same thing. Read top to bottom, left to right, in order as fast as they can. And what they want to do is get as many words read correctly within 45 seconds. So the examiner needs to have like some kind of stopwatch to time it. If they get a word wrong, the examiner on their paper will mark it. They'll cross it off as incorrect. If they skip a word, that also gets marked as incorrect. And if they hesitate for more than 3 seconds when reading a word, that'll get marked as incorrect, and the examiner will ask them to just continue on. So they won't let them stall for more than 3 seconds. And then at the end, all the words that they read that were correct gives them their raw score. So that is the sight word efficiency subtest. And there's a couple different versions. There's Form A, Form B. So you could give them one test. You could give them both tests. One test today, another test in a couple months, and have a different version for them, so it's not exactly the same. So I'm getting my papers all mixed up here. So the other one is the phonemic decoding efficiency subtest, and this is administered the same way. The only real difference is that this test or subtest isn't reading real words. It's pronouncing made-up words. So this is to ensure that they can decode words, and especially, obviously, these are out of context So it shows that they truly know how. Now, for this test, the manual does have information about the correct pronunciations that they are expecting. It gives the examiner the pronunciations, and I'm sure it can't be seen, but you've seen this before. But it has the pronunciations on here to help the examiner know what they can accept as correct versus incorrect. And I noticed when I was going through it, I got a couple of them wrong. My son got a bunch of them wrong. He's obviously not used to looking at things like this that are non-words. But so the scenario that I made up is that my son Matthew Grang was referred for taking this test because of the concerns that his teacher noticed, where he was not able to read well in class. He had difficulty sounding out words and recognizing words out of context, slow at oral reading. He skips words while reading and gets confused between the letters and the sounds that they represent. So he was referred. We spoke with his parents, and his parents said that he does read at home, not very much. He gets frustrated when he gets stuck on words. They help him by telling him what the word is. His reading is slow, and it's so slow that he gets frustrated because he just has a hard time, and it's hard to enjoy reading, of course, if you can't read well. He has no known contributing health issues, and he has not been evaluated previously, and he's in 5th grade now, so it's kind of been let go. So thankfully, his teacher is making somebody aware of this and trying to get him some help. So we administered both the assessments, the practice tests, and the sub-tests, exactly like I had said, timed for 45 seconds, and the results were that he was above average for the sight word efficiency test and below average for the phonemic decoding efficiency test. So that means that it's possible that he has a significant reading disability. So that is definitely something that might need to be evaluated. I had suggested or recommended that he gets some systematic and explicit individualized or small group reading instruction, phonics instruction. Matthew needs to be taught decoding strategies. He needs to understand the purpose of phonics by engaging him in reading and writing activities that require him to use the phonics information that he has been taught and will be taught. And then we're going to monitor his progress, and in about 8 weeks, do another set of testing. And then if dramatic gains are not evidenced, we're going to refer him for some further evaluation to see if maybe he does have some kind of specific reading disability. What else? So in the manual, it does say that this type of test is known to be reliable, but it also does indicate that all tests, no matter how reliable that they are thought to be, there can be room for error. So you wouldn't want to just give these tests and solely rely on this. The examiner, the teacher, they should always base any decisions on, what they have seen. Maybe this child needs to be retested if the test doesn't go well, like they're all out of sorts. The testing environment, there's a lot of distraction. They're really tired, really hungry, just uncomfortable, just not feeling well. Well, then you shouldn't really do the test. And if you do, you need to retest to see the difference between the scores, because you want it to be an accurate measure of, where they're really at. So, I didn't notice any difficulties when administering the test, but of course it was to my 10-year-old son, so I'm sure there might be some difficulties that arise depending on who you're administering it to or what the environment's like. But I thought it was pretty easy. I mean, the manual is pretty extensive. It took a while to read through it, but it's thorough and it actually repeats things multiple times. But that's okay because it really helps you to understand and learn, what it's all about and what the procedures are and everything. So, well, thank you. And I will see you soon. All right. Bye.